2006 NBA Draft. This draft had a lot of hype, but unfortunately fell flat on its face. Why? Potential that was there for players was never reached, or it never existed in the first place. But there are also some great and solid players in this draft that are still in the league today. So let's go over some of the key players in this draft.
With the first pick in the 2006 NBA Draft, the Toronto Raptors select Andrea Bargnani from Italy.
With the first pick of this draft, the Toronto Raptors select Andrea Bargnani. Andrea Bargnani, coming into this draft, was a EuroLeague player who averaged 10.9 points per game, 4.1 rebounds, 1.3 steals on 50% from the field and 43% from 3, which honestly isn't that bad, but isn't warranted for what happened. Just because Bargnani was a 7-foot European player who could shoot, he gets compared to Dirk Nowitzki. Every tall European basketball player who can shoot is compared to fucking Dirk. There's only one Dirk. But anyways, Andrea Bargnani was seen as an inefficient 15 to 21 point per game scorer his whole career. The highest true shooting percentage Bargnani posted in his career is 55%, and even with seasons of averaging almost 20 points per game, Bargnani was never an all-star caliber player due to his piss-poor defense. For his NBA career, Bargnani averaged 14.6 points per game and 4.6 rebounds. Oh, at 7 foot tall and can't even get rebounds. So already with the first pick, we have a bust.
With the second pick in the 2006 NBA Draft, the Chicago Bulls select LaMarcus Aldridge from the University of Texas.
Coming out of his sophomore year at the University of Texas, LaMarcus Aldridge averaged 15.5 points per game, 9.2 rebounds, 1.4 steals, and 2 blocks on 50% from the field. He made NCAA All-Region and Big 12 All-Defense. Aldridge was criticized for his soft playstyle, quote-unquote, choosing to use post fadeaways and mid-range jump shots instead of using his size to post up on other big men. He was compared to Channing Frye, a decent stretch forward for his career, and honestly not a terrible comparison. Obviously, they were wrong. On a high note, LaMarcus Aldridge was selected with the second pick by the Chicago Bulls. Bulls then traded to the Portland Trail Blazers for the fourth pick, Tyrese Thomas, who never did anything significant in his NBA career. Chicago Bulls fans in shambles right now. LaMarcus Aldridge, Greg Oden, and the fellow 06 draft member and point guard Brandon Roy were a trio that never reached their full potential due to injuries. For his first 7 seasons, he was seen as the number 1 option for the Trailblazers, with multiple seasons of averaging 20 points per game on good efficiency. And then Damian Lillard came in and LaMarcus took a back seat, but ended up leaving the Blazers to go to the San Antonio Spurs. LaMarcus spent 5 seasons, technically 6 including this season, or the little bit he played for this season, in San Antonio, and only really started to decline last season at the age of 34. Now LaMarcus Aldridge has retired and will be remembered as one of the most underrated but consistent players in the NBA. For his career, LaMarcus Aldridge was a 7-time All-Star and 5-time All-NBA member. In his 15-season career, LaMarcus Aldridge averaged 19.4 points per game on 49% from the field.
With the third pick in the 2006 NBA Draft, the Charlotte Bobcats select Adam Morrison from Gonzaga University.
I'm going to make this quick. Adam Morrison had a lot of hype coming into this draft due to his legendary college career at Gonzaga. In his junior year, he averaged 28.1 points per game on 49% from the field and 42% from 3. And he even drew comparisons to Larry fucking legend Bird. He was chosen by the Charlotte Hornets with the third pick of the draft and the beginning of the end. He was injured in the second season, suffering from a left knee injury and a torn ACL, and never became even close to what he was expected to become. For the rest of his career, he never averaged more than 4.5 points per game. But fortunately for him, he won 2 championships with the Los Angeles Lakers, but was out of the league at the young age of 26. Larry Bird my fucking ass. In his senior year at the University of Washington, Brandon Roy averaged 20.2 points per game, 5.6 rebounds, 4.1 assists, 1.4 steals on 50% from the field and 40% from 3. He was praised for his offensive versatility, creating plays for himself and for his teammates, and was great off the dribble. With this knowledge, Brandon Roy was selected with the 6th pick by the Portland Trail Blazers. He immediately made an impact in his rookie year, averaging 16.4 points per game on great shooting splits. And for his next 3 seasons, he was a 3-time All-Star, even making the All-NBA team 2 times. Brandon Roy was seen as the 3rd best shooting guard in the NBA, behind Kobe Bryant and Dwayne Wade. Speaking of Kobe once said that Brandon Roy was the hardest player to guard in the NBA, saying he has no weaknesses in his game. Mind you, this era had prime D-Rose, LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, Kevin Durant, and other superstar players, yet Kobe still gave that nod to Roy. Unfortunately for Roy, Brandon developed degenerative arthritis in his knees that really started to affect his play on the court, and he started to decline quickly. The arthritis got so bad that the cartilage between the bones of both of his knees was completely gone. In the last season he played before retirement, he only averaged 12.2 points per game in 47 games played, when the season before he averaged 21 points per game in 61 games played. He tried to make a comeback with the Minnesota Timberwolves in the 2012-13 season, but he only averaged 5.8 points per game on 31% from the field in only 5 games played. Brandon Roy retired again, but this time it was for good and was out of the league at the age of 28. It's a shame that injuries completely ruined his career and we really never got to see his true potential. Rudy Gay. Rudy Gay is a very weird player to me. Coming out of UConn, Rudy Gay made NCAA All-Region Consensus, All-American Big East All-Freshman, and All-Big East in his sophomore year. He was drafted by the Houston Rockets with the 8th pick, but he and Stromile Swift was traded to the Memphis Grizzlies in exchange for Shane Battier. In his 7 seasons with the Memphis Grizzlies, he was a 17 to 20 point per game scorer, but they never got any substantial success. He was traded to the Toronto Raptors in the 2012-13 season, and the Memphis Grizzlies made the Western Conference Finals in that same season. It seems that Rudy Gay made his teams worse, and the teams got better after he was gone. When Rudy Gay wasn't on the Toronto Raptors anymore, they finally made the playoffs after 6 years of 0 playoff success. The reason for this is because of his lack of playmaking, even with his successful scoring seasons. In his prime, he was averaging more turnovers than assists and also was not a good defender at all. Basically, Rudy Gay was a one-dimensional player who had nothing else to offer besides scoring the ball. He played some years in Sacramento and started to suffer injuries, and his play was starting to decline. Now he plays for the San Antonio Spurs and is still a decent rotational player for this rebuilding team. JJ Redick was one of the most hated players in college basketball history. It got to a point where the hate was so bad that he wanted to quit basketball in his sophomore season. But he didn't and kept moving forward. JJ at Duke University averaged 26.8 points per game, 1.4 steals on 47% from the field, and 42% from 3 on 9 attempts in his senior year. His college accolades consist of 2-time consensus All-American, he won a Naismith Award, 2-time ACC Player of the Year, 05-06 AP Player of the Year, he won a Wooden Award, 2-time RUPP Trophy, a 4-time All-ACC and ACC All-Freshman. He was picked by the Orlando Magic with the 7th pick and has bounced around the league a little bit, from Milwaukee to the Clippers to the Philadelphia 76ers to the New Orleans Pelicans, and is now playing for the Dallas Mavericks. JJ has never really showed the superstar potential or even all-star potential that he had, but he has and is a very respectable role-playing career due to his amazing three-point shooting. JJ shoots 41% from three for his career, and he's made 1,948 three-pointers, ranking him number 15 on the all-time three-pointers made list. Now, I've made an in-depth video on Rondo a while ago talking about whether he should be a Hall of Famer or not, so I'm not going to go into deep detail about his career, but basically Rajon Rondo was the 21st pick in this draft and was a starting point guard of the Boston Celtics when they were a force to reckon with, winning a championship in the 2008 season. His career started to decline due to an ACL injury in the 2012-13 season, and he started to jump around from team to team. He rejuvenated his career last season with the Los Angeles Lakers, winning a championship. Now he is a decent backup point guard that any contender would want on their team in the playoffs. Playoff Rondo is a mythical creature that must not be underestimated. For his career, Rondo is a 4-time All-Star, 3-time assist champ, 1-time All-NBA member, 4-time All-Defensive Team member, and a 2-time champion. Kyle Lowry was not highly recruited coming out of this draft. In his sophomore year at Villanova, he averaged 11 points per game, 4.3 rebounds, 3.7 assists, 2.3 steals per game on 46% from the field. Undersized for his position at 6 feet, Kyle Lowry was still praised for his defensive capability because of his grit and determination. Lowry was picked number 24 by the Memphis Grizzlies. In his time with the Grizzlies, he was used mostly as a backup point guard to Mike Conley. He was then traded to the Houston Rockets after one season and had some decent success there. Unfortunately, things did not work out due to the disputes with head coach Kevin McHale, so Kyle ended up playing for the Toronto Raptors. As we all should know, this is where he's had his most successful NBA seasons. Along with co-star DeMar DeRozan, he and the Toronto Raptors had numerous winning seasons and maybe could have made it out the East if it wasn't for LeBron James murdering them every postseason, coining the term LeBronto. After DeMar DeRozan was traded to the San Antonio Spurs for Kawhi Leonard, the Toronto Raptors had their most successful postseason. They made the finals and went against the Golden State Warriors, where in Game 6, he put up 26 points along with 10 assists, 7 rebounds, and 3 steals, ultimately leading to a win and obviously winning an NBA championship. For his career, Lowry averages 14.9 points per game, 4.4 rebounds, 6.2 assists on 42% from the field and 36% from 3. He has accolades of 6-time All-Star, a 1-time All-NBA, and a 1-time champion. In my opinion, he is the greatest Toronto Raptor of all time due to his longevity and will make it in the Hall of Fame. Paul Millsap was the 47th pick of this draft due to his lack of size for the power forward position at only 6'7". Even with this big disadvantage, in his senior year, he still posted averages of 19.6 points per game, 13.3 rebounds, 1.9 steals, and 2.3 blocks. He was picked so low in this draft because he was undersized, as I mentioned earlier, and he was playing against weaker competition, playing for Louisiana Tech University. He was selected by the Utah Jazz and became a great rotational player in his 7 seasons there, especially with the duo of Carlos Boozer and Darren Williams. He scored his career-high 46 points with the Utah Jazz, playing against the Big Three Miami Heat. He ended up leaving the Utah Jazz and playing with the Atlanta Hawks, having the most success of his career. He became a 4-time All-Star and had a 60-win season. This season was fraudulent, though, getting swept by the Cleveland Cavaliers in the Eastern Conference Finals. Now Paul Millsap is a great rotational player for the Denver Nuggets and at the age of 34, still has some gas left in the tank. All in all, the 2006 NBA draft was not that bad, but we haven't really talked about the busts. Andrea Bargnani, Adam Morrison, Tyrese Thomas, and Sheldon Williams, all busts that completely ruined this draft, especially the lottery, more specifically the top 6 picks. But this draft has some all-star caliber players and role players still in the NBA to this day. What is your opinion on this draft? All feedback will be appreciated in the comments section down below. If you made it this far in the video, please leave a like on it, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications for further uploads. With that being said, I guess that's it.